Here's an unusual story out of India. No grandchild. 6 years after son's wedding, these parents are suing. New Delhi. After spending their savings to have their son trained as a pilot in the United States, Sanjeev Ranjan Prasad and Sadhana Prasad financed his lavish wedding back in India, along with a luxury car and an overseas honeymoon. They assumed their investment would eventually pay off in the form of a grandchild. But as time ticked by, they say the not so newlyweds showed little interest in producing one. After waiting anxiously for 6 years, they decided to sue. They are demanding that their son and daughter-in-law produce a grandchild within a year or pay $650,000 in damages. An initial hearing on the suit is scheduled for Monday in a court in northern India. I feel very sorry for them because I am also an Indian and I can understand their pain, said the couple's lawyer, Arvind Srivastava. This is an Indian parent thing. Around the world, of course, people of a certain age face pressure from their parents to have babies. But the guilt trips rarely, if ever, translate into civil litigation. Even if the case goes nowhere, which experts say is distinctly possible, it has already tapped into a broader debate within India over what children owe their parents from both a legal and a spiritual standpoint. A lot of moral pressure. In the Hindu faith, as in other traditions, children have a duty to repay a moral debt to their parents by taking care of them in their old age. Having grandchildren is also seen as necessary to carry forward a family's lineage and help one's parents achieve enlightenment. Parents take care of their children when they are young, and they look forward to their adult children's care and service, especially their sons, in return for all the personal, material, and social sacrifices they have made in raising them and contributing to their success, said Annapurna Pandey, an anthropologist at the University of California, Santa Cruz, who has studied religion and social issues in India. But as India's population ages, the country now has almost 140 million people who are 60 or older, second only to China. More younger adults are entering the middle class and living independently of their parents. The result is a growing sense among older Indians that children are not fulfilling their filial duties, Professor Pandey said. Those duties are enshrined to some degree in the legal code of India, a secular republic with a Hindu majority. A 1956 law made adult children responsible for supporting their parents. A 2007 law on the maintenance and welfare of parents and seniors says that children who fail to do so can be fined or imprisoned for up to 3 months. The Prasad case is an extreme example of an Indian couple trying to recoup a moral debt from a child, but it is rooted in the same cultural logic that inform those laws, Professor Pandey said. Bottom line here is there is a lot of moral pressure and the state very much supports the elderly in terms of children's obligation to their parents, she said. The Prasad case was filed this month in the district court in the northern city of Haridwar, not under the 2007 law, but on the grounds of mental harassment. The Prasads say that in addition to spending their savings on their son's $65,000 pilot training program and his expenses in the United States, they supported him for another 2 years and paid for his Audi, his 2016 hotel wedding, and his honeymoon in Thailand. The parents, who live in a wealthy enclave of Haridwar, have said that they were initially patient with their son and daughter-in-law over the lack of offspring. Even after 2 years, they never thought of having children, and we left the decision to them, Mr. Prasad, 61, a retired government official, said in a brief telephone interview. But the Prasads eventually became so despondent that they would feel ashamed whenever they saw older people drop off grandchildren at a bus stop, said Mr. Srivastava, the couple's lawyer. The court filing accuses their son and his wife, who live in the southern city of Hyderabad, of neglecting their duty to give the pleasure of having either a grandson or a granddaughter. Mr. Prasad's son and his wife could not be reached for comment. The response: the case has made headlines in national newspapers and prompted a debate over how much control parents should have over their children's life choices. Rajiv Birbal, a lawyer in India, said that the suit could probably not go far because its arguments violate rights enshrined in India's constitution, including the right to liberty. This is actually a very rare case, Mr. Birbal said. This is why it is so much in the limelight. But ultimately, it is the couple's choice to have a child, not that of their parents. Hari Bhushan Yadav, 52, a shopkeeper in Haridwar, said that residents had been discussing the case with great interest over tea outside his shop, and that older people tended to sympathize with the plaintiffs. In old age, you want to play with your grandchild, he said. What is the harm in giving them one? Sami Yasser reported from New Delhi, and Mike Ives from Seoul. So let me ask this question. What is the harm in giving them one? Well, you know what? The son is a pilot. It so happens I happen to know a guy from India. Yep. From this city right here, he's from Hyderabad. He's also an airline pilot working for Qatar Airline. When you work as a pilot, you're a very busy person, you know? And then another thing he talked about is that they have this drinking habit, and you're a pilot for some reason, that you gotta drink. So some of these people get drunk too, you know? So you don't have really much time. And the lawyer I know from Mumbai years ago, she's living in the U.S. now. I think her husband is in one of those H-1B visa or something like that. And I asked her, well, when are you going to have a child? And it seems like it's never. Yeah. people got to understand, the more educated people are, the less they tend to have children. Yeah, that's how it works. More educated you are, the less you really want to have children. The poorer you are, yeah, the more you need kids. Because in India, if you're poor, you're going to need that child or grandchild or what have you to help you. But if you're earning a very good income or what have you, as you get older, if you have enough money, you can always hire a maid in India to help you around the home, to do stuff. You don't, you don't need a grandchild or what have you. And that's what it comes down to. Education plays a big role in how many kids people are gonna have, and having kids take a lot of time, especially where you live. And this article doesn't really say anything about where this guy is a pilot. I mean, yeah, he went to school, studied to be a pilot. But there's a shortage of pilots, so he could be a pilot for any airline, Even though he may live in India, but still, he could be a pilot just like my friend. He is based out of Doha, Qatar. He flies for that airline, so I don't know how many times he gets back to India. So, it's not that easy. You're flying through different time zones, you're working, and then to have a kid, who's going to take care of that kid? And where are you going to be based? Like he, for example, he lives in Doha because that's where the airline is. So if you have a child, where's that child going to be? In the country where you're based, or where's your wife going to be? So it's not really as simple as some people want to make it out to be.